announcement of that meeting, of its time and location.
Thank you for that. We're going to have the budget process in your hands by June 1st, Mr. Chairman. And prior to that, we'd like to make sure we have some communication, so I'll be attending.
Is that meeting open to council, any council?
Sure,
Yes.
yes. Mhm.
So when you know exactly what
I'll let you know. I'll let the entire council know.
Thank you.
Amen.
Mayor, I know that the senior advisory committee isn't a standing committee
okay.
per se, but
Maybe it should be
we
moved as one.
we think we're pretty
I
important.
know it.
We have our health fair on Thursday. It's a premier health fair. We're very proud of our health fair, and so we've been working on that. We were meeting again this morning. So we have about 400 seniors that come to our health fair. We think we have a lot of extra things for them this year, so I just wanted to announce that we're having it. You're
Great.
all welcome to stop by.
And the time on that?
It's from 9 until noon, and then we have a luncheon at noon.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much for that. I forgot, I meant to bring that up in my announcement. All righty, a report of city officials. Chief Williams.
How are we doing tonight?
Good, thank you.
Good. Thank you. Find a little bit of allergies here, so excuse me.
I hear you.
This week is National Police Week. We had our police memorial service and inspection yesterday, and that went pretty well. A lot of people in attendance. This week we honor all the officers that have lost their lives in the line of duty in the past year, and those that have been lost before, and recognize past members of our department. Most recently, we had an active duty officer, Detective Bendorsky, that passed away last year due to an illness. So just a time to remember and thank those that have served our department and the nation. Let's see. Tomorrow at the police department at 6 o'clock is our next active shooter survival training. There are still seats available, so anybody that wants to come, tell your friends, tell your neighbors. They're more than welcome to attend. Monday, May 20th, we'll be providing that in 2 different sessions to City Hall employees. Wednesday, May 22nd, is our vaping and juuling dangers, also at the police department at 6 p.m. Again, we encourage, especially parents and students to attend that if they get there. Refuse to be a victim class is May 23rd, that's a Thursday at 5 p.m. Assistant Chief Uselak will be teaching that. Again, there's still seats available. Our Youth Explorers program and Citizens Academy begin May 28th and May 29th respectively, also at 6 p.m. You may have read most recently in the paper, I don't know if you're familiar with, I know the fire department, is the MAC Center out in Valparaiso, the multi-agency academic cooperative. They do a lot of training for fire departments. They recently were invited to participate in their groundbreaking service for the new law enforcement training center. And our own Steve McGraw, he was our representative on that in one of their boards. He designed the law enforcement training center and the accompanying video that they were going to put out there that they're going to build. So that's kind of a big deal, and our officer that participated and helped design it. So
awesome.
Yeah, kudos to him. He received an honorable service award for his efforts. We currently have 2 officers on major illness, and the mayor is meeting next Tuesday. We'll do interviews and potential hirees, and then move into their meeting. And assuming they need to make the list, then we'll announce that list. So, does anybody have any questions of me? Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Sosby. If you would, Tim, if you use the mic there to make sure we get picked up on the live feed. So.
All right, as I usually do, you guys should be getting a monthly report. We can't wait to get this around everybody. For the month of April, we had a total of 371 calls. It comes out to about 12 and a half a day. It's actually that's considered a slow month for us. May and June and July are typically busier months, not only for calls, but because the weather's breaking, hopefully, at least we hope it is anyway. You'll see us out quite a bit more in the streets and in other areas doing some training. As Chief Williams said, the MAC has been there. We've done a lot of training at the MAC this month, and we're going to do a lot more last month and a lot more this month. So we'll be pretty active out there as well. In regards to the MAC, we, as you know, we recently purchased a new ladder truck. We are retiring one vehicle. Tomorrow we are delivering that vehicle to the MAC. We sold it to them for $1 American dollar, I guess, or US dollar. Basically, we couldn't donate it to them, but they help us. We train with them. They train lots of other departments and everything. So we're going to go ahead and deliver that to them tomorrow. So I'm pretty excited about that. Our award ceremony will be June 14th. At that ceremony, this is where we take our time to recognize our retirees, people that got promoted, our firefighter of the year, our EMS person of the year, and anybody receiving any commendations. It is June 14th. It'll be at Station 3 at 6 p.m. You guys will all get an invite. We'll make sure of that. Please come on out. It only takes us about an hour and a half maybe to recognize everybody. But I know they appreciate seeing all the faces out there. So please feel free to come on back. We are processing one new employee. We did have one person leave. We don't lose too many people to other places. But this person decided to go down to Florida. I'm not really sure why. And he's actually taking a job with the Special Forces and providing medical care for them when they're out on training operations. So I guess the only people who take people away from us are Special Forces. So.
Sure.
But he enjoys that. We are processing a new person, and we hope to have that person on in about 3-4 weeks. The last thing we got is we had our department physicals last week. It actually began in April. We finished up with the actual physical exams and everything last month or last week. We had great participation. There's only a part of it that's actually mandatory, but we basically had about 95% participation for all of the non-mandatory things. So that's pretty outstanding in my opinion. So unless you have any questions about the report here or the calls or anything like that, that's all I have today.
I do have a question, but I was waiting for you to come up as well. It's for Chief Williams as well. With all this rain we just had a massive amounts of rain come in. Is there any specific area that this created for any first responders that we need to pay attention to, that these roads were closed because of the rain? Is there any specific areas where we need to address this, to where it's closed the roadway and you had to go around the block or around the community to get to where you needed to go?
No, we don't have too many problems. Fortunately, our vehicles sit a lot higher, so it takes a little deeper water for us not to be able to get through. But no, not really. I mean, just if there is a closure, we usually figure out alternate routes. The city is real good. I know Steve and everybody else is real good. Sandy, everybody else is real good about putting out all the closures and where the standing water is, so we can plan ahead of time. So it usually works out pretty well.
Good.
Yeah,
So we had a lot of rain.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, to that point, I don't think there's any water necessarily stopped us, and with having a lot more SUVs now, we're able to get around a little easier. I'm glad you brought this up, though. I will comment this for everybody here and those watching. The city does a really good job about putting out the road construction repairs that are out there and whatnot. And it can get frustrating, but as long as we know about it, we can take different routes. And I would just caution the residents, there's only so much of a window when this can get done. It can't get done during the winter months. So you just got to be patient and bear with us. And some of it is beyond our control with the other entities that we're working with. I thought it needed to be said, because I know when you put it out there, people will comment and they, say something, but they're doing it as fast as they can.
Oh, I'm not saying that,
Not
I'm
you,
saying
I'm
workers. I'm saying, is there an area that is a repetitive situation where it needs to be addressed? Is it a project that needs to be addressed, raise the roadway, raise the bridge, whatever? Clean the ditch out, move water faster? Is there certain areas that you have any problems with that's repetitive?
Honestly, if you widen the Samuelson Road and raise the bridge, that would be awesome.
I'm not talking about trains.
The only other place I can think of would be Willow Creek, south of 700.
And
Or
probably,
north of
yep,
700.
there is another place that's in the county area for us that becomes a problem. Route 6, just east of 149.
Yep.
That low spot there, if that floods, that really creates a lot of problem for us because we have to take a whole different route to that.
That's what I'm saying, and it's emergency.
Unfortunately, you know, I don't know
Patient
how
on
much
the other end of
control we
that
have.
pond is critical. We're talking about time here, it's first responders.
Right.
We
We
need to
usually
be
plan ahead
effective.
pretty well, so.
Yeah.
There's a lot more communication that takes
Well,
place
that's-
before we get to that point.
We don't
Good.
want to drive fast.
Just double check.
Anything else?
Is there anything I can do to help out to make the time shorter?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, chiefs.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Nelson, Street Department?
Good evening, council, mayor.
Good evening.
Can you pick that up, talk into it? The mic, please.
I'll speak up.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you.
Huh?
We are not in bulk week, so it seems like every month when I give my report, I start out with we're in bulk week. But since the scheduling, we're not in bulk week, so if you're putting stuff out to the curb this week or the next 3 weeks, you will be getting a bill from us for it. So we have 1 week of amnesty week a month. That is the first week of the month that we pick up. After that, if you put it out, we're gonna bill you for it. I'm gonna bounce around a little bit, talk about Willow Creek Road down there that flooded. Road closed so many times, we left our barricades out there. We were getting called 3 in the morning, 1 in the morning, whatever. Bill knows, he lives down there. We just left our barricades there because we go put them up, and as soon as the water go down, we run up and take them down. And that area has been a problem for years. Our guys call it Lake Hendricks, and you guys can figure that out on your own. The sun is shining, we're trying to play catch up. This rain has really hurt us a lot. It's torn up our roads, our potholes are everywhere right now. We're continually running a pothole crew every day, and we'll stay on that until we get them all filled, because they're busting loose like it's March. I don't know what's going on, but it's gonna take a full crew steady the rest of this week to at least catch up on. We're catching up on our yard repairs and our mailboxes that we destroyed during the winter snowplow season. That's something we do every spring. Our guys, we plow 140 miles of road 40 times this year, and we get some grass once in a while, and we hit a mailbox, or the snow hits a mailbox. So I think we've completed, as of today, all of the yard repairs and all the mailbox replacements that were damaged during the winter time.
Great.
Mowing is behind. We've got our full crews are out mowing. We're experiencing areas like today, we were working on the 249 entranceway out there, and we had a triple cut. The grass is so high, it's got so far ahead of us, we couldn't mow because of all the rain, and we're playing catch up. We need the sun to keep shining for a week. Give us a week, and we'll have everything mowed. It's just tough out there right now, and everything we do is, mowing grass, it balls up the mowers, whatever. Our Jimmy Franzen, our head mechanic on our mowers, lost his sister. He had to fly to Arizona for a week. And we had 2 mowers down during that time, but we're up and running, everything's going. Leaves are still, I notice people are still putting leaves out to the curbs. For those that you're putting them out to the curbs, we're gonna try to run a leaf back 1 day a week and try to spot pick these leaves up. We should be done picking up leaves by now. I don't know where they're coming from. Anybody that's been to our recycle area on the north end, and I invite anybody to go out there. This site is going to be opened up in a few weeks to Porter County. We're gonna have a little deal out there. We've got a building. Sue works on solid waste. Help me out.
Waste
She helps
reduction and
us. She's
recycling.
my gal that helps us with the bid out there and all the resources that we need to take care of all of these leaves and limbs that we pick up across the city. And if you don't think our guys are picking stuff up, take a ride out there and look at that pile we've got out north. I have never seen it so full in the 3 springs that I've been here. We're out of room, and we're still picking up. I don't know once we open it up where we're gonna put stuff, but our guys have been busy. There's piles and piles of leaves like I have never seen. We will try to get the leaves that residents are still putting out, but we're not running leaf bags every day. We've got other stuff to do. We've got like I say, we're in catch-up phase right now because we need to get out on road repair. As soon as the weather breaks, we gotta start getting out crack sealing. We got 40 miles of crack sealing to do this summer. We've got road repair all over the city to take care of, and we've got probably another 25 miles of road to stripe. So all our resources shortly will be switched over to road repair and road reconditioning to try to get our roads in shape. Somebody brought up a lot of road work this summer. It's gonna be inconvenient for a lot of citizens. It's inconvenient for us. We have to change our routes for our sanitation trucks. Everything takes a little longer because of construction, and everybody's just gonna have to be patient, bear with us. We're doing quite a bit of road work this summer and road repair. So please watch out for the workers that are out there on the streets. Be careful when we're out there, and we'll try to get these roads in as good a shape as we can by the end of the summer. That's all I got. Question?
Steve, I was over by Airport and Robbins, and I know that the street department didn't stripe that, but I was wondering if maybe Sandy, those stripes are like, you can barely see them now. So I know that she had gotten some money from either the Central Avenue project or something to stripe that there, but it's gotten really faded. So I'm thinking maybe, you know, on Traffic Commission, we just keep getting complaints about that, so.
How are the patches, the repairs doing in the road? Are they holding up? I don't go through that area a lot.
Yeah.
I was through there. I did notice the roads are faded. We can brighten those stripes up.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
I can take care of that easier than contracting that out.
okay,
Once they put the stripes down, we're best at going back over and
Okay.
refreshing. We don't have the equipment to put new stripes on new roads, but once there's stripes we can follow, we can freshen those up.
it's pretty faded. And
we'll
another
get
thing
that.
is, Steve, we need to emphasize to people, because I was meeting with Therese, that you don't want people, when we open the compost site, we don't want people taking grass there. They're still to take it to the street department, right?
Our citizens, we want them to take the grass to our facility at Hamstrom Road, 2303 Hamstrom. Yes, grass. And we do not pick up grass at the curb.
I know,
Many citizens get confused with that. We do not pick up grass at the curb. We do not want grass in your toters, okay? It costs us money at the landfill when you put that grass in the toters. It costs every citizen in the city money if you're putting your grass clippings in your toter. We don't want that. If our guys notice a toter full of grass, we're gonna leave it there. We don't pick up grass. We have a spot down there. You can take your grass and we process it from there.
and we don't pick up grass at Amnesty either, because some people
No.
think because it's Amnesty, they can put all their grass clippings out there.
We do not pick up grass clippings at all. You can take them down to the street department and drop them off there. I recommend composting them into your lawn.
Yeah,
It's the best thing in the world.
It is.
The patches, they're holding, I noticed they're starting to dip a little bit where the potholes were in the patches. So I don't know if that's gonna be a problem.
Where is that?
Airport and Robbins. I
Is
mean,
it-
they're holding for now, but you can definitely see they're starting to dip again.
Yeah, well, we did that in the winter with cold patch, so
Yeah.
it probably will do that. We're gonna be doing quite a bit of that this summer, and we'll revisit that area. For now, for safety, we'll try to get these lines brightened up, we'll check them for potholes and, we'll
How's the
watch
hot
it.
box doing?
I got a lot of areas worse than that all
Oh,
over the
definitely,
place. so.
definitely.
Did you get the hot box? Is it?
Yes, we did. We got the new hot box. I was gonna talk about the equipment. Thank you. The hot box works great. It really does. It's got a dump feature on it, and, it's working well. The guys like it. We also, besides the hot box, we took delivery on a new rear loader this month for our sanitation department. Our other 4 that we had out there were 12 years old and failing. So one replacement's gonna help us a lot. We received one of our new snow plows, the other one is due in tomorrow. And we're supposed to have 2 new lead backs in by the end of the month. Special thanks to Pat for helping me, he's our street department liaison. He stood by my side and helped us get some tools for the guys to use so that we can get out there and take care of our citizens. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take
You
care.
guys do a great job.
Anything else?
I do have something for you, Steve. I was gonna ask you, I know you're very busy and I haven't bothered you with it. Over there where we talked about on Swanson Road where Superior left that
Yeah.
project site a mess over there.
Yeah,
Someone came and I seen someone throwing out straw.
Superior did that.
Well, they didn't
seeded
clean
and
up,
straw.
they just came out, threw straw down to make it look like they'd cleaned up. The sign's still laying there, they just cut the straps that's laying on the ground. Pallets are piled back along the
You
back
know,
of the property line.
As you know, I issued them a 10-day notice to clean it up. And I don't know, because of what they did, if I need to relook at it and issue another notice or see what's there.
Yeah.
I know I need to get our roadside crews on the backside of that hill that's loaded with garbage. You can see it down 20.
Yeah.
We'll pick that up and I'll look at that sign. But they did come out and seed and sod that, or
So they
straw that
seeded all
area.
that gravel area, they just threw seed and sod right, or seed and straw right over all that gravel.
That's a
So now we hit
tough one.
those rocks, you're gonna go flying into the
Yeah.
neighbor's windows.
I drive by there too, I like it, it bothers me, there was a nice greenway there, but since then we had stormwater or sewer in there, they poured that line under 20. They went in and tore it up, did nothing. Then Superior came by and they tore it up and have done some. So I'm like, who do we blame? You know, we're gonna get it back in shape if I gotta send my guys out and clean it up.
Well, I just wanna mention that, to let you know that gravel's still down in that grass. If it starts to grow, there's gravel in there, so it don't go. There's a resident right across the street.
I see, buddy, I know,
All
I
right,
know.
all right, just letting you beware.
If we can get it back to where we can mow it, and looking nice for the people that live across the street, that's our primary goal right now. That they don't have to look at a mess out their windows, so
Sure. Thank you.
we'll keep at it.
I know you will.
Okay.
You're the man.
Anybody else?
I do.
Keep up the good work.
Steve, I know I talked to you about this, I have a picture of how high the grass is getting over there behind, the adult ed building. I know we bought it, RDC owns it now, so,
We discussed that about 25, 30 minutes before the meeting, Steve and I and Colin.
Yeah.
okay, I would appreciate if
Liz,
that could get mowed.
and send, if the neighbors are complaining, send my apologies, we will get that area was super wet back there, okay?
I know that it was
I looked
high.
at it, that's an area, we've got Olson Park areas we can't mow, we've got countryside areas we can't mow, we've got this situation all over, just give us 5 days of sunshine and we'll get this stuff thought up.
Well, all I'm asking for is just to mow it to the pond where the retention pond is because it's not being mowed from the pavement to that. And it's getting very high, and it's gonna be a,
We don't get any rain, I'll
Mosquitoes.
have that mowed by the end of the week,
okay?
that's the
Well-
best, that's the best I can tell you right now.
Well, you know what, the whole thing is we're gonna get some rain, cause I know it's supposed to rain Thursday all day.
We can't mow in the rain, like, that's what's killing us right now, it really is.
Ground saturated.
If you
We
could get
just
it,
need some sunshine, we'll get it all cleaned up and mowed and looking good as soon as we can. That's-
can you put it on a regular schedule to mow that?
We agreed to mow that for the RDC, okay? At a meeting, just our last meeting, as a matter of fact, when we just found out that was added to our
I just
schedule.
want the residents to know that it will be mowed because I'm getting complaints saying they don't know who's gonna mow it. In the past, they've mowed it
We're
too.
gonna mow it and we're gonna get it as soon as possible.
And I hope they're all
I drive
watching.
by there all the time too, and I gotta see it, so I know. I look and see this stuff too, it bothers me, but
Yeah, they're really concerned about who's gonna mow it because they had mowed it in
we're
the
at the
past.
last RDC meeting, a
Yep.
couple weeks ago.
Yep.
We found
We're gonna
out,
maintain
I
it.
just found out
Yes.
2 weeks ago
Okay.
that we're mowing that,
Yes.
so it's on our schedule, we will mow that, I just gotta,
Okay.
I gotta catch up all over the place.
I'd like to ask
Thanks,
you a
Steve.
question pertaining to Willow Creek Road. Who from the city here is the representative on that project? I understand it's being worked out with the county and the city. And what, is there a status report as to where we're at? Not too long ago, I'd heard that we were close, just a matter of buying a little more land and maybe putting in the pond.
Yeah,
But like Steve said, it wasn't very good the one day, because we couldn't get in from
No, they're
either
blind
end.
out of
That's
the-
correct. That's correct. So we're in the buying process, and that's through the Stormwater Board. And the land is being acquired as time goes along. You have to remember the USB delayed that, and we were in the middle of a changeover from the USB to 2 separate boards. Council Elwood was working on that. Now it's been turned over to Greg because of the 2 boards, and they've been cooperating with each other to get title work and such done on what we do already own. And then once that is purchased, then it gets turned over to the county to start the project.
Who are we dealing with at the county? Is it Commissioner Biggs by any chance? You know,
Jeremy, Councilman Rivas is our council person.
Yeah,
It's primarily the commissioners and their employee Bob Thompson with the planning commission,
Bob Thompson.
planning director.
And the commissioners, yep. And the commissioners are well aware of what we're doing. We spoke about that to two of the three. And our two able attorneys are working on it.
Good question.
sounds good.
Very good question. Back to Pat and equipment at the street department. I wanna applaud you as well, Pat, for staying with me and with Steve and getting, speaking with me a great deal about the equipment that the street department needed. They brought the list and then you and I discussed it, so I appreciate
I
you.
didn't mean to slight you, Mayor, but
No, no.
yes,
Yeah, so I wanna give,
since put a couple other items on order, a new bucket truck that are just,
Yes.
so,
so Pat, thank you
our guys
thank you
can
for
only-
keeping my feet to the fire, sir.
They're only as good as the tools they have to use.
That's absolutely
Absolutely.
correct.
You gotta have good tools, so.
And equipment.
And a lot of it's coming.
And we know where the water's coming from, Bill.
We do.
It's coming from south of 700.
Right.
Floods, it's flowing over 700. It's the county's gotta do something with their drainage on the south side of 700. You get a big, you go out there and you just watch, it just all comes from.
Well, that
the
first
farm.
heavy rain was the worst I've seen it. It
Yeah,
was
I know.
bad
It's
shape.
out there and-
We got like 4.5 inches of rain, 30
Any other
hours.
questions? Okay, thanks.
Is that what a full total was, 4.5 inches of rain, like 30 hours?
I-
Something like that, it was crazy.
A lot.
Superintendent Orsburn of the Parks.
Hi, good
Hi,
evening.
how are you?
all?
Give us some good news, would you?
Yeah, so we want sunshine as well.
Poor Steve got beat up.
So first of all, I do want to thank the street department because we are in the same situation and we rely heavily on the guys to help us mow. We're behind as well, mowing the parks that we mow and as well as taking care of some of our facilities, which like the softball complex is really suffering right now and holding us back on some of our sports, but we're getting there and we have a lot of volunteers, a lot of helpful people stepping forward with that, and again, great city support, making sure that our softball and baseball programs are going in spite of the conditions that we're getting the brunt of. Again, spring programs are up and running. This is our busiest time of year. Every employee is full on working, and we're bringing on all of our seasonal help as well. The college students are home, so we're hiring and getting those guys started. As well as some programs have been sold out, have been full. Our staff helps out with the senior health fair, so Lori Wilkie and Amanda Lakey work very closely, and all the maintenance staff here help put that on. It's a wonderful event. Wanted to talk about also thanking the Portage High School students who need to get hours in order to graduate. They're absolutely coming nuts, and so we love it, and we'll take the volunteer help, and they're putting mulch on the playgrounds and picking up garbage, so as well as our ROTC and Portage Christian Schools, so I want to thank them. So we are super happy about that. Today we had a dedication for a flower box, you'll see it out the back window there. It's Chasing Dreams organization. Along with the Carpenters Union, built these flower boxes, and what they're doing is they're trying to raise awareness about their programs that they offer to families of children with disabilities. And so we actually asked for a couple more to be installed out here, and Allen's Landscaping assisted with that as well. So our garden behind it will get started this spring as well. We're about a week behind because of the weather. So everything should be looking beautiful over there. Splash Pad will be open the weekend of Memorial Day. So I know other communities are having issues with their splash pad. I don't think we will. So send everybody over here and visit Hannah's Hope Playground and then enjoy our splash pad. And then lastly, wanted to let everyone know that the Ed Gottschling family has donated towards a memorial bench, and we should have that installed the weekend of Memorial Day weekend. The family will be here, and so I let his daughter know that we would let the community know that we would do that for them, and if I get more details about an event, I will share that with all of you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where's that going, Jenny? Where are you putting that?
I'm trying to find the right location. If anybody wants to help me, I've got a couple different ideas, but we really want it a nice spot and make sure we do it right. So it's gonna go out at Founders. And so, seriously, if anybody wants to meet me out there and say, we think that would go there, by all means. The family lives out of state, so, they're not able to be here to do that, but I did promise them that we would site it correctly and have a nice location for it.
That'd be nice.
So,
Somewhere at
Watching,
Founders?
Yeah.
watching the kids play.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome.
so any other questions or anything?
Pretty squishy out there in the amphitheater spot, wasn't it?
And that has drainage.
Yeah, I know it. I
And
thought
so
maybe
that
the
goes to
sprinkler
show
system
you.
went off, because it was just
There's,
spongily going across there yesterday.
it is killing us.
I've never seen that like that.
Yeah, so, patience, we get a lot of phone calls, a lot of Facebook messages, a lot of emails. We're trying, we don't like that, so, yeah.
So the softball fields were not designed with drainage back in the Imagination Glen
Correct, correct.
days, and so that's the struggle we're having there. That harms us from having tournaments.
Correct, and so we've had tournaments canceled. As you know, we do have a grant to improve the facility.
Right.
We're gonna do fencing and a concession stand. It does not go towards improving drainage, so we're going to be looking to you all to maybe assist with that. It is one of our biggest revenue generating facilities, so we want it to be the best it can be. And like I said, we have everyone helping us. The organizations, the state organizations are even willing to come and send people here to take a look at our fields and make sure that we have the best fields. So didn't expect it, and so we're doing the best we can.
I think the disc golf course,
Yeah, yes.
they're having their very first tournament.
Well, they're having a loosely organized tournament. I think it's tonight. The gentlemen that help us take care of the disc golf course, they're getting together and having an event tonight and trying out the facility. There was an organized tournament, I believe 2 weeks ago, and they had record turnout. They didn't expect to have such a good turnout, so we'll be working with them to make sure it's a little bit more organized. But as far as where people park and.
Turn into a huge thing, that's what it is.
Yeah.
I heard I was told that the world champion is supposed to be here.
I guess he's gonna make an appearance for their event
Is
to
that-
check out our
I thought it was
facility.
within the next 2 weeks, maybe that's something you can publicize?
Oh, I really think it's tonight or tomorrow. I mean, really, it's happening, so.
So that's
yeah.
something big, he's a world champion,
Yeah.
disc golfer, I mean, that's something big that
And
needs to
again,
be out there.
it's a completely volunteer organization helping us take care of asset on our park.
And
They are doing great, they're volunteering time, resources to concrete pads, new baskets, signs, cleaning up trash, keeping an eye on the facility. And it really helps us. Now, we mow it with the street department.
Well, I know they were weeding it, I know, I was out there
Yeah.
one day when they were all out there weeding it, I was just impressed by it.
Yeah, no, we are grateful. We really do have great people that help us out. So.
All righty.
Turned out to be a nice facility.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah. So anything else?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Barb from our marina. This is your time of the year as well.
First of all, what is disc golf? I don't even get it.
Frisbee.
Is it
Frisbee
and a basket. If you could use the microphone
Good evening,
or speak up.
Mayor Cannon, Chris,
Hi.
and council members. So far at the marina, we're having a very good year so far. We only have 20 open slips, which is fairly good for this time of year. It might sound like a lot, but it really isn't. We're upgrading in June with a new security system. We already have a working security system, but we needed to upgrade the hardware and the software, and we're going with 2 new security cameras. One that'll reach all the way across to the west side of the marina, where the larger boats are, and another security camera that will go up the launch ramp, so that we can keep track of, any bad people that do things, when we're not there. After the 5 inches of rain that we have a couple of log jams on the waterway. One is down by the Isaac Walton, over just a little bit east half a mile, and the other one is over where the old Hanukkah building is. So I've contacted somebody, Kurt Miller, to remove the logs, and he said that he would try to get them out by Memorial Day weekend. because he's very busy now putting boats in, because the weather has kind of set everybody back. The logs will be cleaned out and then will be brought back to the marina for us to dispose of. We haul them off the launch map and then we bring them up to where the lift station is, and the street department comes and gets rid of them. Okay, we've had a lot of complaints in the last couple of years, and we finally decided to do something about the people that are tearing down the ditch. So I've ordered 3 no wake buoys to be placed, periodically along the waterway. They're going to have slow no wake signs on them, and there's also going to be red flashing lights. So hopefully that'll stop some of the traffic that goes down there, at a high rate of speed. I don't know that we can enforce that ever, but at least we're trying to deter them from going so fast. As Tim had mentioned, June 14th, we're going to be celebrating John Smolnar also with a plaque for his service on the Port Authority Board. I had plaques made a couple years ago, and I think this is a great opportunity to give him his plaque. As far as that goes, that's about it for the reader. We're in our seasonal help too. I've got about 6 to 7 young kids that we're going to bring back from last year, and then 4 or 5 new kids. So if anybody knows of anybody looking for summer work, we're looking for help.
Very good.
Any questions from anybody?
Good job.
I'd like to just comment. I am liaison to the Port Authority, and I went to my first meeting last Thursday and had a chance to sit right alongside of Barb during the meeting. And I had to let her know how impressed I was with how she responded and reacted to her responsibilities at the Port Authority.
You're too kind. You're too kind.
Very nice.
Thank you, Bill.
You are as well, Barb. Thank you for everything you do.
Questions? Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Barb.
Thank you.
Mr. Clerk Treasurer, I think you have something. to say.
Yeah, I should have mentioned our transition to our new utility billing software. You all probably should have got phone calls today. So like any good transition, there's been some hiccups, but it's luckily been relatively minor. The main issue we're dealing with right now is your May bill that you received told you that you had a unique code on there that you needed to use to sign up online to create your new online account, yet there was no code. And that was a printer error. We looked at the drafts that we approved, had it on there, and somehow the printer did not get it on. So the printer at their own cost is reissuing those bills. You'll be getting those sometime in the next few days, and it will have your code on there, and you can go on and create your online account. The new system is an integrated system. Before we had 2 separate systems. We had our utility billing software and the online payment. They were 2 different companies, and they had an interface. They didn't talk to each other very well, and you as the customer weren't able to see your account history very easily or do very much of anything very easily. It was very difficult. So the new system is all integrated. We see what you see. So it's a lot like your NIPSCO or Indiana American Water account. It's a single source for all of your portage utility billing, your billing history, and set up your payments. Check payments, so payments out of your checking or account are free still. Those remain free. You can do those one time or set up auto pay. So it remains free to the customer to pay by check. If you use a credit card, there's a credit card processing fee. So generally, that's the software. Those that have been able to get in, the folks that have called and requested their access code, I love the system. It's much more user-friendly, so they find it much easier to use, and they've had no problem getting in there, setting up their account, setting up auto pay. So look in the next couple days for your, it's the exact same bill you just got, except it's gonna have your access code on there. You can set up your online account. If you have any questions, call City Hall, and our girls will help you out and get you set up and answer any questions you may have. Or you can stop in and they'll help you in person as well. So.
Did we put like a note on the new bill that says this is not another bill? Because I'm sure people will think they're getting a second bill.
Yes, and I did not personally see the new one, but I believe it says like reissued or something like that, yeah.
Chris, I have a question. Because I know how labor intensive it is for your office to process each bill that comes in individually like that. So in order to get more people to pay online or get it deducted automatically, can you go to like the senior center and do a workshop with them so that they can understand it better and get, have one of your staff go there or something?
Yeah,
Because I think
absolutely.
it helps you And it helps them because I think people are getting, you know, I'm on Nextdoor, I know you're on Nextdoor, and there were a flurry of
Sure.
questions today. So I think that people, you know, to get them through this little hump, you might have to do that.
Absolutely, you know, it's a great idea, we'll work through this transition for the next week or two and then start, really pushing people to do online. Our old system, which again was not very user-friendly, that was implemented many, many years ago, but we had quite a few, about 2,500 accounts through that, so it's about a quarter of our overall customer base, which is pretty good. So once those folks see our new system, they're gonna really love it and talk a lot to their neighbors and friends, and that'll help us get more people signed up. But that's a great idea, presenting it to any of the organizations, Senior
Yeah.
Center, Kiwanis, all that, yeah.
Absolutely.
Or even doing a how-to video on the city Facebook page.
Sure.
Oh, that's a good
Thousands of
idea
people
too.
there, so.
That's a good idea.
A lot of people up here are really good at making Facebook videos nowadays, yeah.
I think we can handle it. I'll hold the camera for you. And then Sue will write the text.
I will.
That's fun, that's fun.
I'm
So-
glad it's working out, so.
Yeah.
So there is one more reminder before we get into ordinances. All meetings besides this meeting and park board meeting will be moved to the police station June 1st.
That are currently meeting here.
That are currently meeting
There's one at City Hall, those will stay at City
Yes.
Hall. But the meetings
Ones that
are
will be
here.
right. It's just tough for the parks to tear down and put back up chairs and tables and microphones and such. And the police station has that permanent. We are going to address the parking issue if anyone is gonna ask that question. It's already being discussed and we have that worked out. So, and Steve will be happy, he won't have to maybe mow as much grass. Just a hint.
One more thing I want.
Yes, sir.
I
Mr.
got
Feckey,
one more
you-
item,
Sure.
and I don't know, you gotta remember, I've been around, but I'm still the new guy on the
Yes.
council right now.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not sure, throughout the city, you know, I'm trying to take the time to get familiar with my district. I go into certain given areas where there are no sidewalks, no curbs, big puddles of water in driveways and that type of thing. Do we have a priority list where maybe in certain order, where one at a time? I know it takes time, I know it takes money, but do we have at least a priority list that covers the entire sister city that has these conditions, and step by step? I don't know if we gotta bring in someone from outside to survey it all, to let you know what kind of costs, estimated costs or what, but it's just something I would like to see us have a program where we would start taking care of areas, each one at a time, you know, each one takes their turn. It may take us 5-10 years to get it all done, but I'm walking in some of the same areas I walked in, I'm not gonna tell you when, but way back, okay? And they're not much different,
Yeah.
and I could understand why they're not much different.
Yeah.
But I think it's something we gotta address sooner or later.
So the team is stormwater and sanitary and engineer,
When do you meet? I wanna come.
Thursdays, first Thursday of the month? Between
The
at
first
3 o'clock and
Tuesday
4
after
o'clock.
the first Tuesday of
Yes,
the month.
sorry.
What time?
4 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So
I don't care which one, I'll be there at 4 or 3.
we'll be there at 3.
Okay.
That way we
okay,
cover them
3.
both.
Okay.
And then I know we have a sidewalk master plan, Chris.
And that's
Correct.
first Thursday?
Correct, first Thursday after the first Tuesday.
Okay.
So,
5 million?
Something like that, yeah.
so I'm gonna address that in a moment.
Sorry.
It's okay. So Bill, yes, we do have a plan that is halfway there. I
Okay.
asked for that, second week I was here from the engineers,
Okay.
because I asked the same question you did. Because it's not acceptable for water to be where it's at. You have to understand, on the west side of the city, there's no infrastructure for storm. And that's kind of the plan for this, for the Central Avenue West project, which would probably have to start next year. We just don't have the funds and such this year.
Sounds good.
But the west side of town needs infrastructure, and it's first on the priority list. And then when it comes to sidewalks, we realized that in 2017, people paid for our sidewalk program, put money in, gave us the money, and it just sat there, and no one ever pulled the trigger to get those sidewalks the people have half paid for. So that process works this way. We pay for the labor, the resident pays for the concrete. And then on top of that, as we, all three of us know, walking the streets and such here recently, that sidewalks just end, and then 25 yards later, they pick up again. So the plan is to connect those as well. That'll be phase 2 after that. And then phase 3 and 4 will come as money comes available. But to Councilman Zilli's point that he was speaking with the clerk treasurer about, is about a $6.5 million project to get sidewalks everywhere that no longer, that does not have sidewalks. And that is pretty daunting as you look at it. It probably have to be a 5 to 10 year plan to do that. Go ahead, sir.
So is this something so the current sidewalk plan is, or sidewalk repair plan, as you discussed, is a split between the homeowner and the city.
Right.
The problem I've noticed, out walking streets is you maybe one homeowner who wants to repair those, but then you got 15 on the block that don't. And what good is a sidewalk if only one chunk of a 15 house block is fixed? It'd be nice if maybe that's something the council could study. I don't know if that's ordinance or budget committee, is if we could afford to amend that to where the city simply comes in and repairs those. Because I just have a feeling if we're waiting on the homeowner to do it, it's never gonna get done. And we've got some really bad.
Well, and that's.
Bad, very bad.
And that's part of phase 2, phase 3 of the plan, and we'll introduce that again. I thought we introduced that already, but we'll introduce it again.
Mayor, I do have a question.
I'm not.
When you're done, okay.
Sorry, Scott.
That's okay.
You're not
I just
mad, are you?
wanted to be recognized.
You're not mad, are you? We're trying to be.
No, I understand.
To the clerk treasurer's point, that is part of the plan, but that's part of that $6.5 million plan. When we built homes in the 70s and 80s, we put maple trees, and maple trees have evaded our sidewalks, and that's something that we have all inherited through time. Standards are different now. We don't allow those kind of trees to be put in the right of way and the near sidewalks. So I'm with you, and again, just to tackle something that wasn't done in 2017 is a daunting task when we don't have a crew when they're dealing with drainage issues. So we went out and contracted that, and we got those put those bids out today at Board of Works. So to Bill's point and to Chris's point, we've inherited a lot of stuff that we need to get onto, and we're certainly working on it. Plans are in place on all those subjects. But again, it takes money and it takes time.
It's a difficult problem. North of Central Elementary,
Yeah,
there are no sidewalks there. And I went in there years ago with the program that we had just put in place where we're the labor in installing the sidewalk. They pay for the material. I think you still have that going. On one side of the street, my good friend George Marjanian lived on that street. George, out of 8 residents on the one side of the street, George was the only one that would let you do it. The other one, you're gonna take that tree out? I don't want, that tree's been there for 20 years now, and it's such a nice tree, I don't want, So you're running a lot of problems with it, and I realize that too. But we just gotta do the best we can.
go ahead, Scott.
I was just gonna pick up on Bill's point. Trees are an issue in the easement, and they've uprooted the sidewalk. So as we look through this program, it's something we need to consider. And I know that it's a difficult decision at times with the families. Do I want to remove that tree? It's beautiful shade, it's been there, but it is part of the problem.
1/4 of the $6.5 million is just tree removal.
I
believe that, yeah.
So that's just, and then you have folks like Bill saying, doesn't want their tree removed.
Yeah.
Now they don't want their tree removed because it's been there and they planted it with a child or something, and all those things are sentimental and such. So we've got a lot of work to do in a short time to do it, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, anything else? Introductions of ordinances. First reading, Elizabeth Avenue Lift Station, sub-area.
Liz, would you take that, please?
Sure. The ordinance of the city of Portage, Indiana, amending section 82-87 of the municipal code entitled Elizabeth Avenue Lift Station Sub-Area Sewer Assessment. be it and it is hereby ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana as follows. Section 1, Ordinance Amendment, Chapter 82, Article 11, or Article 2, Division 4, Section 87, entitled Elizabeth Avenue Lift Station Sub-Area Sewer Assessment, shall be amended by adding the following sentence to the end of paragraph A. Area bounded by Robbins Road on the north, Airport Road on the west, the municipal boundary of City of Portage on the east, and the headquarter apartments development on the south shall be excluded from this EALS, E-A-L-S, sub-area. Let the record show the ordinance is read in its entirety. Make a motion to suspend.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Elwood, would you please explain what is going on here? Mr. Elwood is our attorney for sanitary and council attorney.
Thank you. So this, Amanda, turn the mic on.
Thank you.
So this comes from the sanitary board with a favorable recommendation. This originated from the developer that was putting in a residential subdivision in the 1970s or 80s. They created this district which required that the drainage go to, or the sanitary go to a lift station to the west, I believe. Our engineer and their engineer have now determined it would be better if it went to the east and drained through gravity instead of having to maintain lift stations, et cetera.
So it'll go down Loop Road to the west.
Yes,
Yeah.
west, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably, yeah. Yes, and it's going gravity, so it does not require an upgrade to the pump station
Yes.
at Elizabeth.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna ask, is because of the increased load on the lift station, it would require a change of that equipment?
Yes.
Upgrade of the equipment?
Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
and gravity is always the way you want to send.
Yeah.
Send it.
Gravity's a lot cheaper.
That's correct, that's correct.
Cheaper to maintain.
Yes,
NIPSCO bill and all, so.
right, right.
Any questions for the attorney? Or our attorney, I should say.
Thank you.
All right, we had a motion to suspend and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Vanessa,
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Beckett,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli,
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch.
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Second,
Any more discussion? Any more questions? Call the roll.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams, Councilperson Feckety,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli,
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch,
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto.
Yes.
Next on the plane, and then if Greg needs to jump in, he's here as well, so.
I got a question, why is this the first reading?
It should be
This is
second.
second reading.
No, it's the first reading. Greg will explain that.
Go ahead, Greg.
That's what I thought.
I thought it was a second.
No,
Just explain that.
Public hearing.
So this,
Hurry up.
There you go.
So this was on the agenda last month for first reading, but the statute required that the council give notice of its intention to consider the ordinance before it take action. So there wasn't actually a first reading. All that happened was authority was given to give notice of the intention. So you need to do both readings tonight in order to put that.
We can do both tonight?
you just suspend the rules.
Suspend the rule, yeah.
Since I presented this last month, do you want me to go through that this month, or just give a summary?
Just give a summary if you would, sir.
All right. We followed the procedure on this. This was an update to your past ordinance for the recreation impact fee, and we formed an advisory committee. We then went through 35 different infrastructure components of recreation committee, and the park board and the plan commission have given favorable recommendation to consider 3 of those areas, being park shelters, multi-use trails, and park open space. The recommended impact fee dollar amount would be $986.
Make a motion to suspend?
I have a couple questions.
second. We have to.
Okay, I can't ask questions about the ordinance?
I think we have to suspend.
We need to also read.
Suspend.
Yeah, we gotta read it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Pat, would you take that ordinance?
I don't have it, I'm trying to pull that up now.
Go ahead and take it, Scott.
Go ahead, Scott.
This was last month? Fine last month.
It's here on the
I
docket.
think it got moved over,
It's
yeah.
moved over.
Okay,
Well, maybe I'll do it.
I got it. Ordinance 19 an ordinance establishing an equitable impact fee for the purpose of planning and financing park and recreational infrastructure to serve new development in the city of Portage, Indiana pursuant to Indiana Code Chapter 36-7-4-1300 ET all. Whereas the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana has determined that it is responsible and necessary to promote and accommodate orderly growth and development and to promote the general public health, safety, and general welfare of the citizens of the city of Portage, Indiana, by providing an equitable program to fund the capital costs of new park and recreational infrastructure necessary to serve newly developing areas of the city. And whereas the city council has further determined that it is reasonable and necessary to promote the orderly development of the city by establishing standards by which the city may require the new development shall pay an impact fee representing the development's proportionate share of the capital cost of new park and recreational infrastructure necessary to serve the new development. Let the record reflect that this ordinance has been read in its entirety.
Motion to suspend.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Beckety?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clay?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
Councilperson
Yes,
Scott Williams.
it's just a matter of clarification. I'm not opposed to this impact fee, so, but in the ordinance, I read the entire document. It talked about credits, and I'd like Mr. Lehman to address that subject and how credits work.
It's a good question. Typically, credits are given to developers in lieu of paying impact fees if they implement some of the needed deficiencies. So for example, the most obvious would be land or trails. If the city's trail master plan has, say, a quarter of a mile of trail that would be adjacent to that development, the developer would have an option to develop that trail per city standards. And the value of that would be received as an impact fee credit.
So in theory, the developer could invest more money in making that improvement than what it would have cost them to pay the impact fee.
Right, there'd be in lieu of impact fee. So if the value of that was $100,000, he could get a credit of $100,000 of impact fees. So it would be
So who determines the value of that?
The study itself had a value per unit. So we had a mileage cost of what that trail would be.
Okay. And then it also referenced this 3-member board and the qualifications, obviously, and then they have 10 days to verify and validate their qualification. Who puts that board together?
The city administration. And it needs to be a CPA, professional engineer.
Real estate person?
Right.
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 And
And they serve basically.
so is that serve at the pleasure of the mayor, putting that board
I
together?
think it's just the administration. I don't think there's necessarily a position that does it, but it's a municipality that approves it.
Does the council have any input on that board?
The statute will answer that question, I don't know off the top of my
Yeah, I
head.
didn't, Greg, I don't think it's in reference.
The council does not have.
Okay.
We have to approve
It's the
it.
mayor's
But it's the mayor's office.
And basically, they don't serve on a regular basis, they serve on a DB basis, and they serve like a BCA.
Okay. All right, those are some questions that I had. Thank you for clarifying.
Any more discussion? Questions?
I think just for clarity, because I'm sure some residents hear fees and they're gonna pay, this is for new developments, right? A new home that is built, right? It's not going to a current resident who owns that.
Yeah.
That's correct.
So if a developer puts up 50 units, they're gonna pay 50 times The 900 and some dollars, okay.
That's correct.
All right.
Just as now we're paying
Yeah.
the
But
lesser
it
amount.
won't go in effect for 6 months.
That's correct. As of tonight, if it passes.
If it passes, yeah.
Any more discussion?
I have none.
Say it again.
I have none.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Feckity?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
All right, thank you all. Introduction of resolutions, various transfers, number 2. If the clerk treasurer would kind of explain that to us.
Sure.
I need a vote first.
I guess I need to read, someone's got to read it.
Colin, you want to read that, please?
Yes.
Resolution 19 whereas certain extraordinary emergencies have developed since the adoption of the existing 2019 annual budget, so that it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was appropriated in the 2019 annual budget. Now therefore, to meet such extraordinary emergencies, section 1, be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana, that for the expenses of said municipal corporation, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated in order set apart out of the several funds or funds herein named and for the purposes herein specified, subject to the laws governing the same. Appropriation 101-110-111, planning salaries amount $69,000. Appropriation number 101, 120, and 111, police salaries $73,000, total 100 series increase $142,000. Section 2, whereas it has been shown that certain existing appropriations now have unobligated balances, which will not be needed for the purposes for which appropriated, the following existing appropriations be reduced in the following amount. Appropriation number 101, 5111, clerk treasurer salary $6,000. Appropriation 101, 100, 111, mayor's salary $63,000. Appropriation number 101, 70, 111, public works salary $73,000. Total 300 series decrease $142,000. Let the record reflect this has been read in full. Motion to adopt.
Second.
So this is, we actually did discuss this, I think, briefly last month because we approved the notice to taxpayers. So this is just the actual resolution that we had advertised, and it has to be advertised because it involves interdepartment from one department to another transfers. But it was moving around salaries to, like animal control has moved to police department. And then the other one was out of mayor to planning. That was Colin or Andy's salary, I forget.
Yes.
Was moving from mayor's office over to planning, so.
What we're trying to do is have the salaries come out of the proper department. So they're responsible for that. And then going forward with the budget process, we have the correct numbers for the correct employee in the correct department. So appreciate you doing that, Chris. I think we may have a few more
I was
coming.
gonna say there'll be more.
Yes, there'll be some more coming as we're going through some looks through of the budgets and such, and move folks around. Thank you. We have a motion on the floor and a second. Any more discussion or questions? Please call a roll.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Beck?
Yes.
April temporary interfund loans.
Pat, can you take that?
Resolution 19-8, resolution authorizing temporary interfund loans, whereas the following temporary interfund loans are necessary for the purpose of maintaining cash operation balances and the funds of herewithin named. Let the record reflect in its entirety. It's been read in its entirety.
Motion to
Motion
adopt.
to adopt.
Second.
This is our monthly temporary loan, so I guess just for, if there's any questions, routine.
When the tax draw comes, this all gets sent back.
When is that tax draw coming, Chris?
Into this month, the beginning of June. So your tax bills are due May 10th. And it takes the county a couple weeks to balance everything out, and then they'll send us our distribution. So typically, we repay, we repay all of our TIMP loans by the end of June. You'll recall that you declared the council declared an emergency to carry over some TIMP loans from 2018. Those by statute have to be repaid by June, into June. So those are our first priority, to repay what was borrowed actually last year. And then if we have money available, we work to repay the existing year's TIMP loans, with the goal being to have all of them repaid by the end of the year so that we don't have to carry them over and declare an emergency.
Let me ask you that, go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's it, yeah.
I'm just wondering, asking Budget Chairman Scott Williams, you had mentioned also, do you think we should wait for our budget meeting until we get this draw?
Do you have an idea, Chris, of what we're gonna get? I mean, how confident are you in that dollar amount?
Our draws are typically, we are, again, knock on wood, we're pretty good now at estimating our draws. The biggest issue we've had in the past are tax caps, but the state now gives us very good reports. So we're typically really spot on with our draws, unless there's something going on in the economy, but we don't see that happening right now. So the draw should be in line with where we're expecting.
We'll go ahead and meet as planned to get the ball rolling, and then we can use the actual numbers, but at least enter into some discussion in preparing next year's budget.
Yeah.
So just a quick question, more of a what if. If, say, the cable TV fund goes away at some point, do we have a backup plan? Is there a backup plan?
So-
Fund?
The cable TV fund has built up. We spend very little out of there. The revenue that comes in, we typically simply set aside as our reserve. We use that to be able to fund the cash operations of the city. So if tomorrow, let's say the legislature got rid of
That's
cable
what I'm
TV,
talking about.
you know, obviously it hurt us because no new revenue would come in, but we would thankfully still have the existing money there to be able to fund things like this. If we didn't have that, we'd be in really big trouble. So yeah, it's something we worry about every year because the legislature talks about it almost every year about getting rid of the franchise fee. It kind of has died down, I think, the last session or two, but it could always pop up, you never know. So it's something we should always be aware of.
Have we noticed, has our cable TV revenue decreased every year?
No, it's actually gone up.
It's gone up.
Because people because of cable internet,
Yeah.
more people go to cable subscriptions and do the package and all that, and that's where we get our revenue. It's coming back up because satellite is not the big thing anymore, you know, like it was before, so. And the cable companies want to get rid of it because satellite doesn't pay it. Yeah. So.
Or do your streaming?
And nor do your Netflix or anything like that, that's right.
We had a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Please call roll.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Beckman?
Yes,
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Real property tax abatement for Marina Shores, Lot 9, A, and B.
Bill, are you comfortable reading that, or do you?
Bill?
This may be easier to see. That one is tough.
she wants to read this?
Yeah,
Just the top.
you can just go over here.
Put all my glasses on, I can't, good, I'm gonna get everything received.
You want Liz to read it?
Huh?
You want Liz to read it?
Yeah, Liz will
Go ahead,
help,
Liz.
help me out, Liz. I'll bring my glasses if I know I'm gonna have to.
That's okay.
It's all right. We got you.
Okay, I'm gonna read the statement of benefits first, that's what we're gonna vote on first, right?
Well, there's a
There's
resolution.
ordinance.
There's a
Well,
resolution.
that's a resolution.
First.
It doesn't include the statement of benefits in the resolution.
Okay, the Marina Shores the taxpayers' information is Marina Shores at Dune Harbor. Address is 6159 South Dune Harbor Drive, Portage, Indiana, 46368. The full name of the contact person is David Renishaw.
Bresnahan.
I'm sorry, that name, sorry about that. Name of the designated body of the City of Portage Common Council. The location of the property is lot 9A and B, Marina Shores at Dune Harbor. Fort County is quarter construction of a parent villa home, and the GFX taxing district is 16, and estimated start date is May 2019, and the estimated ending date is December of 2019. Current values of $70,000 for real estate improvements, assessed valuation estimates would be $300,000, so the net estimated value would be $370,000. And then the resolution is, whereas the Portage Common Council wishes to encourage, do we have to vote on this first before we read the?
Where you vote on to approve the resolution, that approves the SB1, that's how you approve these.
Okay. Whereas the Portage Common Council wishes to encourage and foster economic development within the city of Portage, and whereas the Portage Common Council adopted Ordinance 16-13, evidencing its desire to allow tax abatement benefits to a community of properties located within the previously designated economic development target area, and whereas Marina Shores at Dune Harbor Lot AB has submitted its statement of benefits, which I just read, dated 4/16/2019 to the Common Council. Now therefore, the Common Council finds that estimate of the value of the redevelopment is reasonable for projects of that nature. Other benefits about which information was requested are benefits which could reasonably be expected to result from the proposed redevelopment. The totality of benefits to be derived from the proposed redevelopment is sufficient to justify the deduction sought by the applicant. Let the record show the order or resolution was read in its entirety. Make a motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the tax abatement for lots 9 and A and B at Maria Shores at Dune Harbor. Any more discussion, any questions? Please call roll.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Feckity?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
No.
Councilperson Lynch?
No.
Thank you, David, for coming in all the way from where?
Sorry, Dave.
Arizona. There we go.
And that was the last one. So the district expired at the end of April. So what was the final kind of tally? How did it all turn out? I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, about 22 units and definitely re-energized, and now we'll see, how things go without the.
There you go.
22, that's pretty good.
I think it did what it intended to do.
Yeah.
Thank you again for your investment. Unfinished business? Anyone have any unfinished business? New business, annual CF1 reports.
They're in a folder in your Dropbox.
I make a motion just to approve the ones that are in our folder. If we have questions.
I'll second that motion.
Can I back up a minute though? I have a question on old business.
Okay.
Last council meeting, I brought up a street light.
Yeah.
And I seen that in the minutes, it was not brought to the Board of Works. And I'd like to know why that wasn't approved through the Board of Works, so we get that street light in place, why it wasn't on the agenda.
It was probably an oversight. It's on the list, Pat, and it's been called in an IPSCO, so
Okay.
we'll just get it for Board of Works purposes, but it's been called in, sorry.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep. What we got to do here?
We have a
Liz, go
motion
ahead
and
with the
second on the
CFP.
floor.
Liz, go ahead.
I just made a motion to
I'll
approve
second it.
all the ones that have been submitted to us.
Did you second that, Scott?
Yes, I did.
We have a motion to accept all the CF1 reports and a second. Any more discussions, questions?
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Feckity?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Related to that, if we can, and maybe Greg can help, or Ken, I'm sorry, is, there was a news article in the paper about Lear Corporation leaving the city, and they have an active tax abatement. So I think it would be appropriate for the council to investigate rescinding that abatement, because obviously they're not fulfilling the terms of that abatement. So I don't know what the process would be to
They're
do
leaving,
that.
period.
Yeah, they've consolidated over to their new Hammond facility.
Yeah.
So,
So if we claw that back, Greg, do we get all that money back, or
Wow.
what happens?
For the years that they were in service here?
So, it's been a long time since we've done this. There's a process to be followed to terminate the abatement. I'd have to look.
I think they're due a hearing, I think is.
I think that's right. I think you have to set it for a hearing, they have to have an opportunity to comment.
there's a notification process, I believe it's a 30-day notice before the hearing, and then you conduct a public hearing, and then that's a termination, and then there's a separate process to go back and
I think the
try to collect.
yeah, it's just been a long time.
Do we need a motion from the council to start that process?
No, just the directive, so we'll look into it, but I'll look into it.
Okay.
Advise you of the process.
And I guess, and can we set it for a hearing if we know that that's what's gonna be required? I don't want us to wait until June to then set it for a hearing in August or something, let's get this.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
I'll
agree.
make a motion to set a public hearing for the next time.
The motion would be to issue the notice and then set up the hearing.
Second. Issue the notice, right,
Yes.
as soon as
So the
ASAP.
statute.
Good night, Chris.
We have a motion and a second. And call roll.
Councilperson Williams? Yes. Councilperson Becky?
Yes,
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Thanks, Chris. Notice to taxpayers. I don't believe we have any. Receptions of remonstrances, public input, and any other business to be brought before the council. This is time for public input. Hi.
Oh, haven't seen you all in a while.
Yeah.
I don't think I need this.
Okay.
Anyway, my name is Freya Churchwell. I live at 5290 Plaza Avenue in Portage.
Which avenue, please?
Plaza.
Okay, thank you.
I did call the street department last week and asked them to fix some potholes over on Dombey. They fixed the one on 20. I asked them, could they fix that one on 20 and the one up here Central as you turn onto Dombey? Because it's a big hole here and a big hole there. And when you turn into it, you're playing dodgeball with the cars that's coming at you.
Right.
Now, if I break up the axe or anything, I hope the city would fix it, because most cities do fix it. But they would Dombey and finish up at 20 in Dombey.
Steve and his employees will.
I'll be out and looking at it in the morning.
I think
Okay.
Have you called that in?
Yes, I called that in.
it's really bad.
I'll also be looking to see what my girls did with your call.
Okay,
Please.
because I noticed they fixed up one little portion of 20 in Dombey, but they neglected that up there at Central. And Dombey is such a short road and it's got potholes all the way through it.
I live in Swanson and it's full of potholes too, it's.
But it's really hard when you try to make that turn and then you turn it right into two potholes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know, all right.
Attention. Yes,
Sharon, I
sir.
would like you to look at, to make sure that does get paved from Route 20 to the toll road from Nidoc. It is horrible. It is horrible there. It was on the list, and I was told that it might be taken off, but I would appreciate if it stayed on the list because it is unbelievable.
I hear your pain. I feel it too when I go down that road, so.
Good evening,
Yeah.
Mayor and council members.
Hi.
I'd just like to bring to your attention, it's a drainage issue, and this is a drainage issue.
Name and address.
What's your name and address, sir?
Dave Trachtenberg, at 3003 Cordell Street in Portage, in Mr. Zilli's district. And this has been an issue that's been there from the time it was a cornfield, and then Althoff Homes started developing that area. And it just floods constantly. Not, the heavy rains notwithstanding, anytime there's any moderate rain, it's a swamp. Back in 2006 or 7, I'm not sure, when the council meeting was open to comments about developing that area, we talked about the drainage problem, and the city engineer, Mr. Hannon, assured us that, we've done all the engineering, there won't be a problem. I took exception to that, being an engineer also, and we just disagreed. And bottom line is, it's not working. So when they built the new houses there, You can see the sump pumps running all the time. And this is after the roofs are on and the walls are up. And now every time there's a moderate rain, that swale between the houses, it just floods. My neighbor's backyard shed is underwater, it's completely surrounded by water. And it's been damaged. I can't tell how much the sump pumps and Hidden Waters houses are running because they put the black plastic tubing on it, so you can't see it coming out. But it was running constantly.
Mine runs all the time. I'm in Hidden Waters, it runs.
I have 2 sump pumps in my house, they never ran.
Yeah, the water is not hidden, yeah.
In 20 years, they never ran.
Hold up, folks, gentleman speaking.
In 20 years, they never ran, and any moderate rain now, they run.
Yeah.
Granted, I mean, we knew sooner or later houses would be built in that field. But back last fall, actually I contacted Mr. Stidham's office, and he directed me to Althoff Homes, and I contacted Althoff Homes, as did the neighbors. They said their construction manager, James, would get in touch with us. That never happened. And basically nothing's been done. I called Mr. Zilli I guess it was on Friday. Right, let him know, like, down here I called Althoff Homes. Just didn't want them to be blindsided. So they called me back in 20 minutes once they knew I would be down here. And I talked to their customer service manager, Lisa. They said, oh, they're working on a solution. I don't know what it is, but they're working on something. Well, at this point, I think we need to know what it is. I mean, there's damage being done to property. If you look, the 5 southwesternmost houses of that subdivision, when it rains, that swale, I mean, I've been counting alligators in there. And it's a swamp. You know, and they say, you got damage to property. I don't know what will happen with mosquitoes in this or anything like that.
That's gonna be bad.
But yeah, but something's.
May I ask a question? What streets are these exactly that are affected in this area?
Okay, we're on Cordell Street, which is a
Okay.
cul-de-sac, right?
Right.
And then Amanda Drive runs east-west, just north of the north edge of Savannah Heights. So it's the very southern row of houses in the Hidden Water subdivision. I don't have all the addresses.
No, I don't need
Off of
that, I know what
Robbins,
you're
it's
talking
off, Cordell's off of Robbins, correct?
Yes, right. It runs north, well, our area is just north of
Right.
Robbins. But it's as a matter of fact.
In the next year.
I know 2 of the houses are like 62, 69, and 62,
That's okay,
77.
I'm picturing it now, that's good enough description.
Yeah. And anybody that's trying to plant grass, I mean, grass, of course, isn't gonna grow on the road. So I'm not sure, it's an issue, and I understand it's the developer's responsibility. And, you know, we just need them to do something.
Sir, if you do me a favor, our RDC administrator, Colin is in the back corner. If you get all your information to him, we will make sure we get out there tomorrow and look that over and get right on it, okay? So Colin will be.
It's dry now.
Well,
I don't know how dry it is, but I'm guessing it's side.
We'll be able to see it.
But it's nice.
And the engineer will be going with me, the same person you dealt with before, so.
So I know Chris, myself, I think Dave Littleton, Jake Comenda, John Hannon, and a rep from Althoff, one of the other developers. We went out last year, last summer, after a big rain, and I mean, we saw it firsthand. I believe they were looking to see if there was a drainage pipe to the west that they can connect to. They said the map says there's one there, but they can't find it.
It has been discussed.
There's, okay.
It has been discussed.
I just want to be clear, it's more than just these heavy rains. This is really terrible. But even when it's a moderate rain, that is, well, we've got it handled to cover 100-year rains. Well, the number of 100-year rains that we've had in the last year, I think got to be 1,000 years old.
Yeah, right. It has been discussed in City Hall, so.
I appreciate it.
A month before you got here, we discussed it, so.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And Colin will help you get some information from Colin here. Put Colin on the spot. Yes, ma'am.
Karen Beatty, 2670 Hopper Street. I just want to say, unfortunately, I was in that bad accident on Wednesday on Route 6 in Willow Creek, where a man ran on a red light. But I was just so impressed with the police department, the fire department, and the paramedics. I mean, they were Johnny on the spot, they worked with each other. And I mean, Troy, we he's not a young man. He jumped on the top of my hood to look into the car that was down on the ground to see how many passengers were in there. I mean, most teenagers can't do that, and Troy's in good shape, so I wish he was here to, because I mean, I was just so impressed.
We sent him to the gym.
I mean,
That's good.
I just wanted to quickly say that I was just so impressed with everybody that in all these departments. I mean, it's such a terrible intersection
Yes.
there, and they were just so wonderful.
Good to hear.
Thank you very much.
We're glad you're okay.
Yes. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Karen, what was your address?
2670 Poplar.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mary Momola. I live on 6391 Staten Avenue here in Portage. I was just curious how much money is in the cable fund? That was my question. How much is remaining or in there?
Well, 2.1, if all the TIMP loans were to be repaid, I mean, right now it probably has little or nothing. But if everything was repaid, a little over 2 million, 2.1 maybe, let's call it.
I was just curious. Okay, thank you.
You said the cable fund, right?
Yes.
Cable fund?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Further question? Good question.
Should we then make a motion to adjourn?
Do we have anyone else? Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Friday.
I don't need that mic.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
Madam Chairman, Council, good evening. Just two very quick things. Portage High School Athletic Booster Club, once again, is gonna host, the Indian Open, that's June 7th, that's a Friday. Cost is $360 a team, poll sponsorships are there for $100. This event has sold out every year, so if you're interested, please contact Fred or Mike Pointer or Zach Gardner, who is the president of our club. And it's gonna be a great time, it's gonna be at Duck Creek, again, once again this year. And also, I did speak to the mayor on this. Tomorrow is the first meeting that we are gonna actively be involved with the Shared Ethics Commission. They're gonna meet tomorrow at 8 o'clock up here at the Nervsey Building. And with John's permission, he asked me to attend tomorrow on behalf of our city. And we're gonna make this thing work.
Good.
And
Great.
really get it going. You know, I thank all the members of the committee who voted me on to the ethics committee, and I got one of the young men in fact that I'm gonna try to convince later on to rejoin our committee, because I think he'll do a fine job.
Yeah.
But that's my report this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John, thank you very much for doing that for us, and we appreciate everything you do for our community.
Thank you.
Good job. Anyone else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.